Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Funday. And I know there hasn't been any for the past few weeks. Surely been busy as flying fuck. Little bit of side information. Megan's mother had to go to the hospital. She is out and she is doing much, much, much better now, thankfully. That was the fun from the last week. The week before that, I had to work on Sunday. That was awesome. And sure, I had an extra day off, but to be fair, I was still having to deal with work stuff on my off days more than usual. So, yay. And then the week before that, again, just busy. We had like no time for anything. I'm like, cool, perfect. So, yeah, past few weeks have been hell. But we did decide that we wanted to actually watch this movie. We were actually semi-curious about it, just because it's been in fucking limbo since before COVID.
Yeah, and it keeps getting pushed back. It's like, can this finally come out?
Yeah, and what movie is that? It is, of course, Morbius.
Just accept who you are. The bad guy.
Morbius.
And I'm going to throw out one thing real quick about I actually like that they used the original font for the Morbius comics in this. You didn't notice it because you never read the Morbius comics. The Morbius comics are very 90s. But they actually used that for the font for the title of the film. I'm like, alright, cool. I actually kind of like that. So, real quick, to talk about this movie, we might have to get into a little bit of spoilers. I will try to keep it at a minimum, if I can help it. Sorry, I'm trying to not sneeze and talk, and Brian is incapable of doing both. But there's a little bit of spoilers we have to kind of get into, though. If you kind of watch the trailers, you can kind of get it. Those who are wondering, what is this movie about? It is about a guy named Morbius, of course.
Michael Morbius.
Yeah, Michael Morbius, he is a pretty much child prodigy, but he also happens to have a blood disorder that he pretty much constantly, his blood constantly changed out.
Yeah, it kind of cripples him and this other guy, Milo. Well,
His name is actually Lucian.
but he calls him Milo because, like, oh, you're the new Milo.
Yeah, because he had another kid who he kind of befriended when he was a young kid, and called him his name was Milo because pretty much kids just kept dying. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's depressing as fuck.
He's like, you're the new Milo. You're the new Milo. You're the new Milo.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, my name's Lucian, but you're the new Milo.
Yeah, and they both kind of end up having a bit of a bond, not just due to their sickness, but also due to, for lack of a better way to put it, their own intelligence. Because it turns out that Milo is super smart in some ways. I don't know how, but he has a lot of street savvy.
I don't know if he comes from money, but I know that by the time they become adults, like, he's very rich.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he can fund all this research for Michael.
Yeah, he's Elon Musk levels of rich.
Yeah.
He makes Jeff Bezos cry with how much money he has. So Bezos is like, I want that. Can I treat my employees more like shit to get more money? Well, it doesn't work that way, Jeff. But yeah, Jared Leto played Michael Morbius. He's your main actor, main character, obviously. And Milo is played by
Matt Smith.
Yeah.
One of the Doctor Who's.
Yeah, most famous for being one of the doctors. And I'm just going to throw it out there. They actually have great chemistry together. Like, it's strange. I've not really cared a ton for much stuff that's Jared Leto. It does not help that one of the only things I've seen him in is Suicide Squad. Oh, that was a bad Joker. That was a real bad Joker.
That was not the Joker. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was not Joker.
That was Catman pretending to be a gangster.
I was like, I think he was trying so hard because it wasn't very long after Heath Ledger's Joker that he was just trying to do his own thing and separate himself from that Joker. That it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And also, I think a bit of the writing.
A bit of the writing was bad. The whole movie was written poorly.
Well, I'm just saying, only so much that, like, I think even Heath Ledger could have done with the writing.
Yeah. But here, Jared Leto, he does a really damn good job with what he's given. He's not like Academy Award winning Jared Leto, but he's, still being fun. You can still enjoy him from whenever he is acting a little goofy. And also, him and Matt Smith just have good charisma together.
Yeah, they do seem to have, like, this kind of brotherly type bond. Then, obviously, a little bit of spoiler, it kind of sours a little bit, but they still kind of feel like brothers just kind of at odds with each other.
Yeah. And to kind of give away the big premise of the movie, though, if you've watched the trailers or know anything about the character, why are you surprised by this? Michael Morbius, he begins to experiment with vampire bats to try and fix his issue.
Because he explains they have an enzyme to be able to...
make the blood coagulate. Or not coagulate like it's... Because I guess it's an issue with... That's
with his bloodborne illness. That's... Yeah, pretty much he's trying to splice together human DNA and bat DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And try and get his blood to coagulate or...
Not coagulate, I believe is the problem.
I think it was coagulate that he's wanting to do.
Well, he wouldn't use an anticoagulant for it.
I don't think it was an anticoagulant.
He did say anticoagulant.
But anyway, the point is, he was trying to cure himself.
Yeah.
And he eventually found a cure, but of course it turned him into a monster that made him able to...
Makes him a vampire.
Yeah, made him able to fly around, and he craves blood.
Yep.
But thankfully he's created a synthesized blood.
Mm-hmm. And give it away, there is a villain in this, and sorry, it turns out it's Milo. That's the big bit of the reveal. But to be fair, if you watch the trailers, you kind of can get that with some of Matt Smith's kind of like mugging throughout certain parts of this.
Yeah, there's one clip from the trailer where he's kind of like just kind of sauntering through this subway station. And, like, yeah, you do kind of get the sense that he's the bad guy, or at least one of the bad guys, or, whatever's going on. It's like, he's nefarious.
Yeah. And there's also guess I'll have to mention, there is a sort of love interest for Michael Morbius. If I can admit something else I did have problems with, her name is Martine. Those who know from the comic books, yes, she is from the comic books, technically. The actress is not bad. I cannot tell you a single thing she said throughout the entire movie. She's not bad. Like, none of it is really bad that she does. She's just utterly forgettable. And
she's just there to assist Morbius with his various research and transformation and all that fun jazz.
Yeah, like, realistically, this is all about the main character, the title character, of course, Morbius.
Yeah, she's pretty much Rachel McAdams from Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
She's exists only really there to assist him.
Mm-hmm, be a love interest.
I mean, yeah, just, yeah.
And, again, like, that's probably one of the other that's one of the big issues. The only other big issue I can as well say, this is obviously, it was a movie that's meant to be rated R. Like, there's some points where you can see, like, obviously they probably had, like, more CGI blood coming out. Or there's more blood that got splattered because he went to, like, slice his dude's throat. And instead, there's nothing. It's just a guy going, and it just falls down.
Yeah.
It's like, this movie probably was supposed to be a hard R, which, I get it, but sometimes, like, Sony, just go for it.
Yeah, and then with it keep being pushed back, I think they decided, like, okay, we want this to tie in with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So I think that's why they kind of cut it down to a PG-13 rating.
Oh, they're not trying to connect it with Doctor Strange. They're trying to connect these to Spider-Man.
Well, I know, but through what happened in
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home with the Doctor Strange spell and the multiverses and
It's confounding. I'll just say how much that's another issue. I will say there's 2 end credit sequences. They don't make a whole lot of fucking sense.
well, one is a mid-credit scene, and then the other the credits start rolling for like a second, and then that final okay, let's not make them wait for the final end credit scene. I think is what they were figuring.
I guess, and I was like, huh?
I was like, is that it? Like, what?
What's going on here?
Don't repeat it? Sure. Yeah, that's it. That's the only 2, end credit scenes.
Yeah, and a lot of people are kind of giving this movie a lot of flack. They're like, oh, it's very reminiscent of the original, early 2000s comic book movies. I didn't hate those movies. People really shit on Ghost Rider, Daredevil, and everything. Sure, they're not the greatest movies in the world, but I don't need them to be the greatest movies in the world. I just need them to be decent, dark kind of characters. I'm cool with that. And that's what you get here. You get a decent kind of dark character. Sure, they could have went a little bit harder with the R, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get that upset about that issue. There's bigger problems in the world, I believe. It's realistically, the problems with this movie more just deal with editing. There's also some weird fucking edits. At the beginning, the movie's really choppy for no reason. It's kind of just jumping around a little bit. It's sit the fuck still, movie. Stop doing that.
Or that one scene when he's running from the police. That was a little weird, that rooftop scene.
Yeah, it was awkward.
It's okay, what is going on here?
I think it's trying to interpret that. Or was trying to show he can fly. Oh, yeah. Spoiler, he can fly. You see in the trailer.
Yeah, I was I think he was about to start flying, but then he started freaking out, okay, no, and just kind of stopped and so I was I think that's what the scene was doing.
That's what it was doing.
But it was just it wasn't entirely. It was weird how it was kind of edited with some of the effects. It's
But realistically, I think though the biggest things that are actually good about it, they're actually quite enjoyable. Jared Leto's Morbius, Milo, and him.
Matt Smith has so much fun.
He is a ball of ham, a delicious ham.
Yeah. I think someone shared that one scene on YouTube. And y'all can probably go find it. And just...
Yes, they're just dancing in front of the mirror.
It's sweet moves there.
Yeah, it looks like Megan. She's dancing. Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Are you going to walk away from this thing, this is one of the greatest superhero movies? No, this is not anywhere near as good. Is it do anything more profound than what we've seen in the past few years? No, not really. Are you going to hate this, though? I don't know. I don't know why anybody would absolutely hate this movie.
Honestly, a lot of people seem to hate it, but I don't understand the hate.
I can see where people have problems, but I believe they're overblowing it more than anything. It's similar to the just backlash, I believe. Like I said, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man 3 even, which, guys, Spider-Man 3 is better than Spider-Man 2. Sorry, it is. Spider-Man 2 really makes no sense.
Agree, disagree.
I'm sorry, Spider-Man 2, if you think about it for 5 seconds, you're like, wait, why is he losing his powers? Because he's distracted? So, wait, what? How's that work? The movie makes no sense, and I'm sorry. Kirsten Dunst is the worst.
Spider-Man 3 has too much going on.
Spider-Man 2 has too much Kirsten Dunst in it. Honestly, if she had died a good old Gwen Stacy death, it would not have been bad. At least the character, not Kirsten Dunst. I don't mind Kirsten Dunst. She's not a bad actress. She's a fucking terrible bitch in the entire second movie. She is fucking stringing Peter along. It's God, dude, you just need to fucking punch her. You will solve your issues.
But we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like there is stuff to obviously not like about it. There is some obviously really goofy bits. But, damn it, if I can't actually just kind of sit there and just turn off my brain and enjoy it. And that's kind of how I feel towards the movie. It's a good, you can just turn your brain off, sit there and
It's a
watch
good
it.
popcorn flick. Just mindlessly.
Yeah, and it's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's a breezy sit, too, at that. It's not like these fucking 2.5, 4 hour long flicks. I know we praised the fuck out of Endgame. We both really loved No Way Home. But guys, stop with these fucking absurdly long movies. The Batman was way too damn long. There's just too much in it. And I like Endgame. Endgame still could have done with a little trimming here and there. And sorry, but Snyder Cut fans, that movie fucking sucks still. And adding 2 hours of suck on top of more suck did not magically make it better. All it made is the suck makes slightly more sense and it has more suckage. It's like putting a stronger suckage on your vacuum cleaner and surprised it didn't become a muffler. It's like, the fuck y'all expect to happen here? But yeah, I'm fine with this movie. I don't get the absolute hate on for it. Is the CGI the greatest in this movie? No, but it was bad in Venom. I'm not expecting the world from hell. As much as I actually like No Way Home, sometimes CGI is kind of funky there. But here, at least felt a little bit more stylistic.
Like it was a deliberate choice.
Stylized is the word I'm looking for, not stylistic. But yeah, it felt like a deliberate choice that didn't detract from it the entire time. And even then, it didn't try to abuse it the entire time. Well, except whenever we also tried to wreck on vampire bats. Yeah, I will say, those of us who have ever done any kind of science reports or anything on vampire bats are really fucking confused with this movie.
I married a nerd.
Well, because vampire bats, how they do is they'll scratch their prey, and they do have that kind of anticoagulant kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's part of their saliva, and they just kind of then lick up the blood and then they leave. They don't feed on a lot, actually. It's one of the weird things about this. Like, it makes vampire bats seem like just fucking monsters. Like, that's not how vampire bats work. Oh, and apparently there is just a swarm of fucking vampire bats that happen to live in New York sewers. It's like, where the fuck they come from?
I assume that was his bats that he brought from Costa Rica. That he was like calling to him, though. How the hell they got out of that cage, I don't know.
I don't think they got out of the cage. Like, there's just bats that are in the sewer. Again, though, it's a movie that if you begin to try and sit there and think about every little aspect of it, it begins to fall apart a lot quicker, I believe. But it's not a movie I think you should be thinking about every little aspect. Because is the movie trying to ask any deep philosophical questions? No, it's just trying to be, I would say, kind of like a Frankenstein kind of tale. Or
actually, how Jared Leto kind of described it was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, sort of in a way. A little Jekyll and Hyde, a little Frankenstein, a little bit of both, I think.
More so the Jared Jekyll and Hyde.
Jared and Hyde. She's pretty, but she's goofy. But yeah, I do actually see that, and I don't 100% not agree with it. But it's not trying to be the next big thing. It's not trying to really launch a universe. It seems like it was a movie that was just like, let's just try to put it out.
And it wasn't even trying to be a metaphor for anything. It wasn't trying to be pretentious in any way, despite being sort of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of tale.
Yeah, it was just movie.
I think more just took inspiration. Mm-hmm. But like there's not really any bad acting in this that I remember. Like, even the two cops that keep trying to chase him down. Of course, there's Tyrese Gibson, like, he does fine. That one dude that never shuts up.
Yeah.
It's like, he's alright.
He's a little annoying, but he's not like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and you get some hamminess, like, from Matt Smith every now and then, but it's like, it's a fun kind of hammy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's some, like, fun, goofy parts. Like, I am Venom. Where he's got the full vamp face, Jared Leto.
Did they cut out the part where he says, "Oh, just friendly Michael Morbius, Dr. Morbius"?
Yeah, like, I remember that from, like, the last trailer.
Yeah, and they cut it out of the movie. I'm like,
well, it's like two, like, very notable lines from the trailers they kept making kind of a big deal about, and, like, surprisingly not in this. Like, where he's like, oh, if you're gonna run now. It's like, he never says that.
Mm-hmm.
And the, what's up, Doc? It's like...
Yeah, that,
it's like, what the...
Michael Keaton says to freaking Michael Morbius never says that.
Yeah, I was like, that never happens. Like, what? I was like, so I gotta see what's on the cutting room floor now.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I'm so confused. But it's not a bad film. I mean, not a cinematic masterpiece, but
yeah.
It's not bad.
So, what would you give it as a final score?
I'm gonna do like solid 7.
I'm a bit lower, but that's just because I'm one of these. I love me a good vampire flick, and I hate when they begin to neuter them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And this one, you know, they got neutered a little here and there. And I'm gonna give it a 6. It is a good, not fantastic movie. But you're gonna, if you turn this on, like, let's say if you rented it for your family to watch. First, why are your family watching a vampire movie? Or let's say you get it with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you like to stick your thing in, or have them stick their thing into you, or vice versa. I don't care.
Your significant other, your
partner in crime,
or your, wife. One side, girlfriend on the other side. Y'all are into that.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy. But if y'all sat there and just, turned this on, I think you would still have a decent time. Do you need to go run out and see this? Yeah, I don't think so. It's not the world's greatest movie. It's not like gonna set the world on fire, but I think you're gonna still have a fun enough time. So, hey, go check out Morbius, since none of y'all gave a shit about Fantastic Beasts early. Ugh. That's not a great sign.
We might wait until that's on HBO Max.
Can't be worse than the last one. The last one made no fucking sense. Like, it's, as somebody who's watched all the fucking Harry Potter movies.
Except for the very last one.
I watched part of the last one. That's important.
You watched part 1, but you didn't watch part 2.
I watched the end fight with the other one. That's all that matters. Nothing else in that fucking movie matters. And also the other Fantastic Beast movie. I will say the second Fantastic Beast movie still doesn't make a lick of goddamn sense. And I tried to go back just to watch it again, and I'm like, this movie is still all over the fucking place. And it needs to learn to sit the fuck still. It needs to damn Riddler.
Yeah, and what mostly gets me, I think, about the second Fantastic Beasts is Queenie's just abrupt turnaround and, like, wanting to join the dark side just because, I want to be able to marry Jacob.
Yeah, it's like...
and, drugging him to get him to marry her, even though it's like she could easily get in trouble.
Well, she wasn't drugging him. Remember, she was using her magic.
Well, I mean, essentially, she's date raping him.
She isn't, essentially. She is raping him.
She's magically roofing him, is what I'm saying.
She is... It's very heavily implied that they're doing stuff as well. she is straight up committing sexual assault. It's like, ew.
I don't think that it's implicit that they're having sex, but she's just forcing him to be in a relationship with her just because she's wanting to marry him, and the only objection he seems to have is the fact that like she could get in a lot of trouble in the wizarding world for marrying a muggle, and also their kids could be shunned.
Yeah, if they had kids.
Yeah,
which
kids they have.
again, that kind of implies that they were doing a little.
No, I think he's just like more thinking of the future. I don't know. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. It wasn't that clear.
He might have been slipping her the old Kowalski sausage.
I knew you were going to say sausage. I knew you were going to use that word.
Kowalski is Megan's giggle button. That starts her giggle juice going. That sounds real dirty. Put it that way. She's gonna turn red and have a heart attack trying not to laugh and not snort. I got her.
I'm done. Let's just finish this.
Well, while Megan, giggles herself red as a tomato.
Giggle myself stupid. Shut up.
And maybe I'll give her some Kowalski sausage later. Oh, but until then, we'll figure out what we're going to do this next week. I might have an idea of something that we can do. But
why does that make me afraid?
It involves sausages.
I can't with you.
This is what you said yes to.
Well, you said yes to all this.
I know. I said yes to a giggly bitch. She gets her breaks.
Oh, shit.
Oh, but until then,
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
we'll see y'all there. So, bye-bye, everybody.